Hi, I'm Rebecca Harris, and welcome to this edition of Faces and Places. I'm so excited when spring comes because I know that right on the heels of spring is the Revival on the River at the Phoenix City Amphitheater. And this is one of the most incredible events that happens at the amphitheater. And if you have not been there, I'm hoping that you're going to put this on your calendar and make sure that you do come this year. This is a free event for the entire family, and it is well worth it to go to it. So, we've got a lot of things going on in this area right now because of spring break and all the activities that happen on the Riverwalk, but this event is a major event for our area. And today I have a very special guest here with me, Jonathan Cronin, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about it. But before he does, on Faces and Places, part of the purpose for my interviews is so that you guys can get to know the people who are behind the scenes and plan these spectacular events. It takes a lot of work to do something like this. So I'm just going to ask Jonathan to paint a little picture for us about who he is and how he got involved in this event. So Jonathan,
Sure.
Take it.
Yeah, well, thanks so much for having me on.
You're very welcome.
We are honored, as always, to be on this show, and we're so excited, and I'm particularly really excited about this event. It's brought so much transformation in this area and brought so much just rapport and people being transformed, which equals city transformation. And yeah, that is my story, that I was transformed probably around in 2011, and gradually, as the Lord continues to work on me today, but really 2011, 2012 were pivotal years in my life, and I had been in drug addiction and growing up, going through a lot of different rebellious stages, getting into marijuana and then pills and cocaine and eventually methamphetamines. And in Columbus and Phoenix City area, I was running the streets, and eventually in 2010 got some serious charges that I was facing. And I caught 3 felonies right here in this area, and I got put in jail. And when I was in jail, I had just an outrageous encounter with the Lord. And that may sound crazy to a lot of people out there that may be skeptical of these things, but I'll just give you a brief summary of what happened while I was in jail. I ended up getting in trouble and get sent to the hole, which is solitary confinement, or it's a place that's 24-hour lockdown. And so while I was in the hole, I ended up almost getting in a fight with a guy inside of the hole. And I know you're thinking, man, this guy's hard-headed. I am. This time I'm for the good, for Jesus. But I was in there and I almost got in a fight with the guy inside. They took him out, and I'm in there by myself. And I think at that point I said, I've gotten pretty low here. I'm in jail inside of jail. I need to do something different. And I think by the grace of God, I realized that if I don't make a change right now, I'm going to be stuck in this kind of life for the rest of my time here on earth. And I saw the people I was hanging around with, the older guys that's been in and out of prison all their lives. And whenever I said, I've got to make a change, I said, God, if you're real, I want to do something different. I wasn't really trying to do the Christian thing, but I said, God, if you're real, help me. I just wanted him to help me. And I promise you, in that moment, I felt the peace of God come over my heart. It was the most surreal thing. It was the most amazing thing. I cannot explain it away. But as soon as that happened, not even an hour later, they sent another inmate in my cell, and this is right here in Muskogee County, or Columbus, Muskogee County Jail. And I mean, there's thousands of people, but they send one guy in to replace the guy that was just in there, and he happened to have a Bible.
Wow.
And so I started reading this Bible, and I just felt the tangible pursuit of the Lord on my heart and on my life. And whenever I felt that, I gave my life to Jesus, and I said, Lord, I want to live for you. Whatever you want to do, I'll do it. And I get out of the hole, and as soon as I get out, I get on the phone and find out they're going to try to reduce my sentence. And so from 10 years to 5 that they were looking at giving me to a 7 to 2, and then 3 months later I get out of jail and I go to a rehab called Teen Challenge. And so God used Teen Challenge as another avenue of transformation in my life. Graduated there 2012, and then went through 4 years of ministry school after that. I opted into saying, I want more of this thing. Went to ministry school, began, Andrew, I met him in Teen Challenge. Andrew Chalmers is the founder of Take the City. And I met him in Teen Challenge, and we stayed in contact, and I ended up starting a Take the City in Griffin, Georgia, which is where the ministry school was that I did 4 years at. And so it's just been an ongoing journey, and eventually God called me back to Columbus to be a part of what's happening at Take the City, which includes Revival on the River.
Well, this is going to sound strange for me to say this.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you have a job or you're in a certain position, you can look back and you can see the steps that God allowed you to go through to get to that position, so that when you're there, you understand what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, that's right.
If you had walked into this position and you had never gone through the experiences that you did, you would not have any empathy for the people coming through the doors. You would not have any compassion, and you would just feel like you had textbook knowledge of it.
Yeah.
But to have actually lived it and had the Lord help you to overcome that, then you can say, I've been there and done that.
Right. And I tell a lot of people that, at one time I'm in these same streets, I was running for the devil, running for the things of the world, constantly just going after the evil that's out there, and I'm running wild for the devil. I get to go into the same streets today and proclaim freedom to those people that are out there, proclaim that there is hope, and there's a hope for addiction, there's hope for any kind of abuse, there is hope, no matter where you are. And there's freedom and liberty in the bondages. And I went to some of the worst places. I went to some of the depths of the darkness. And I can tell you, even in that place, God is strong and He's real.
I know that our law enforcement and people who deal with people who have addictions in this area are just overwhelmed because of the amount of people here that are addicted to drugs.
Yep.
And this ministry that y'all are doing is so important to this area. So I want to encourage everybody out there to get behind this and to pray for the people who are putting this together, because I was a part of this in the very, very beginning when they came to us and wanted to use the amphitheater. And I can tell you this, to see all those people there from so many different walks of life, and to know that they have all had so many different paths that they were on to get them to that point, and to bring them in that spot right there at the Phoenix City Amphitheater, and to see them all ages and backgrounds praising the Lord and worshiping together, it's just, it's such a phenomenal experience, y'all.
Wonderful.
Please don't miss it.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a really short break here, and we're going to show you some pictures and just give you a little bit of a glimpse of what you will see if you come there. And then when we come back, we're going to have Jonathan tell you a little bit more about what you can expect when you come through the doors of the amphitheater that day.
We were created to know God, to be loved by Him first, then to love Him in return.
So Jonathan, I see that you've brought some tickets here, and it says admit one, but you do not have to have a ticket to go there. But if you would like to have a ticket so that you'll know the details about the event, they're going to be here at the CTV Bing building on Sportsman's Drive here in Phoenix City, and they're also in a lot of other locations. But in the meantime, I'm going to let Jonathan tell you a little bit more about it, and he's going to tell you about the website so that you can go back and review what he's telling you about.
Yes, so we are absolutely just overwhelmed with excitement, and the Lord has called this year, I believe, this is our 6th annual Revival on the River. That's going to be April 5th, and we are excited because we feel that God is doing something even greater than what He's done in the past, or even better and different than what He's done in the past. And this year, we believe that there will be a movement started in Revival on the River. And you know, we all understand the critical times we're living in. If we've been in this Christian life for a while, we understand that the world is in a pivotal place, and the prophecies of the Bible, the things that are coming to pass right now are just showing the signs that we are in a critical place of the end times. And I think that what God is saying is that we don't just need a program, and it's not going to be one church, it's going to be the whole church. And I think that's why, and what really excited me whenever you said all that about the reality of so many different people from different backgrounds, that's the goal of Revival on the River. Over 100 churches are being represented at Revival on the River. And we believe that God has commissioned us, and especially this 6th annual Revival on the River, we believe God has commissioned us to start a movement that would sound from this place and would go to the ends of the earth. A movement of His bride, of His church coming together, the wholeness of the bride, and then not just that, but actually being sent out as people who would share the gospel of Jesus Christ with everyone they know, that would impact entire cities with the gospel, that people would be sent out as one, as the body of Christ, that we don't just need another ministry, we need a movement. And so that's what I'm excited about for Revival on the River. And again, like she was saying, it's going to be April 5th, which is next Friday. The doors will open at 6:30 p.m. I would get there extremely early, as early as you can. I would say around 5:30, because you're going to start seeing a line build up by 6 p.m. And but you know, it's going to be amazing. It'll officially start at 7, but we should have some pre-activities, you know, around that's leading up to 7, maybe some worship and things of that nature. But please bring the kids. There's going to be a kids segment at the very beginning, so don't be late if you have kids. And so that's some of the details. Like she said, there's tickets. There's so many different locations you can do it. You can come here at CTV, or come by Take the City office, 2910 2nd Avenue, or things like that.
Now, what is the actual program going to look like?
Yeah.
Who's going to be there?
Oh, that's a great question. So there's going to be a lot of local churches. If you've been to an event, you understand this concept, but it's a local event. There's not any kind of, world leaders or anything like that. It's all local people, and that's what makes it so unique and so special. It's such a powerful thing, and I think God really loves that it's just the local body of Christ coming together and saying, we believe in the power of unity, that the power of unity can transform cities. And so there will be a few different speakers. One of them is Andrew, who always brings the gospel message.
Andrew
Chalmers. And then there will be healings and different things along that nature following that. And Jason Dennis will be our MC.
He's funny.
Yeah, so you know
he
him.
always just makes everything go so smoothly.
He's a great guy, and so that's we have a skit from Teen Challenge. If you know about Teen Challenge, the girls program here locally is going to do a little segment in the program. So.
And what about music?
I don't want to spoil too much, but music, of course, Imminent Worship. But there should be some new faces in Imminent Worship that I think, I don't want to say too much, but I think people are really going to enjoy because it's always Imminent Worship, as you know, is always really powerful.
Yes.
But we believe this year it's going to be incredible. And we were just on a phone call right before I came here, and we were just really acknowledging the reality that at Revival on the River, God just releases a supernatural freedom over the crowd. And if you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. It's things that we wouldn't normally do in worship, or things that we sometimes shy away from, or freedoms that we don't normally feel in certain atmospheres. It's just there. And so you feel freedom to be yourself, to worship God how you want. Again, it's over 100 different churches. over 100 different churches. We could pause there and just be in awe of who God is, but
Right.
over 100 different churches, all different denominations, coming together, worshiping God however they feel, all under the banner of Jesus Christ.
Well, if you're not familiar with this concept and you don't go to church, it's okay. It's sort of like everybody there is kind of doing their own thing, but nobody's going to be judging you about what you're
That's right.
wearing, or you don't have to worry about bringing an offering, or all
That's
those
right.
kinds of things that we do in traditional church setting. And I think part of the freedom that you're talking about feeling happens because they're at the amphitheater down by the river, and it's just such a casual, beautiful, laid back scene.
That's
and
right.
I'm so
Yep.
proud of the city for allowing us to use this facility, because it's perfect for this.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a lot of people in the community that are really behind this, and one of the major sponsors that's behind this, I want to talk about a little bit about this, is Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we forgot to talk about Chick-fil-A.
That's a big piece.
Yes.
I guess I get excited about the actual program, but a big deal is the fact that the first 3,000 people will receive Chick-fil-A, free Chick-fil-A. So that's a big deal. I can hear people excited right now. But free Chick-fil-A for the first 3,000 people. And they've been incredible sponsors over the years, all 6 years. And so it's really exciting to do that as well.
Well, I just want to go back down memory lane just a little bit. When we first started this event, when Chick-fil-A came down to the amphitheater, it was several of the general managers from the area there, and they came down to the amphitheater to look over the concession stand and figure out how. Because you think about that logistically, getting warm sandwiches out to that many people it's a big task.
Yeah.
But Chick-fil-A is so on top of things and
Yep.
so professional, and they plan
They're
things
great.
out so well.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, they came to do their little pre-planning meeting, and I was so impressed because they just started walking down around the amphitheater. So you know, I was the amphitheater manager at the time, so I thought, well, I guess I need to go see if they need anything. And you know what they were doing?
What?
They were praying over the amphitheater.
Wow. That's big.
Yes.
That's incredible. That's
Yes.
a great message.
And sometimes when businesses can think about what they can do to minister to the community, you know, it could be cookies, it could be a Chick-fil-A sandwich, it could be so many different things. And I see that you do have a lot of sponsors here on the back of this ticket that we need to acknowledge in some way. So look on the website and I'm sure you'll see that.
That's right.
But you know, sometimes I think that we overlook the generosity of some of the businesses such as Chick-fil-A. So when you're there, please make sure that you thank them for this free sandwich, because it's not just a free sandwich, it is a way for them to minister to the
That's right.
community.
And I'll just say, I really believe that this year we're going to see a movement launch. We're going to see something launch and something released at this event, because we just sense that God is placing an urgency on our hearts, and God is saying, now's the time to be released and to do what He's commanded us to do, the things that have not been accessed for so long, the things that have seemed far off, or some of Jesus's life that we say, I don't know if I can reach that. I believe that this year we're going to see a releasing and a grace come upon the church to do what Jesus did. We've seen incredible testimonies come out of Revival on the River. People that have stumbled in by chance, that have planned to commit suicide.
I remember.
Have you heard
Andrew
this
telling
story?
us- yes, but tell us again, because it's such an amazing story.
Well, there's so many, but you know, that's one of them. And I think that's actually happened twice, is where there was a guy that came in the amphitheater that was walking along the river walk and comes in and listens to the message and feels, and I think somebody comes up to him and actually shares with him the gospel in the midst of this. And he changes his mind and says, I was going to commit suicide, but now I'm giving my life to Jesus. And we've been following up with him, and he's becoming a disciple of Jesus Christ now.
Well, I'll tell you some things that I heard when we'd be getting ready for the event, and they would be doing sound check. Just the people out on the river in the boats and, whitewater rafting or whatever, they would hear the Christian music and they would come into the amphitheater and they'd say, what is that? Yeah. And then I would tell them about the event coming up that night. And a few of them said, you know what, I've never been to church before, but I would like to try this.
Yeah.
So they came in that night and they were just blown away by what they saw, because it was so different from what they had in their mind about what a church service would be. Or what anything like this would be. So, they walked away saying, I had never heard Christian music before. Yep. And then that helped to draw them in.
Yep. We've had one year where a lady that was in trafficking, in human trafficking, had came in the theater. And we have an initiative called Redeem, specifically to the area of human trafficking. And so this lady hears about this, and as a result, she finds freedom. After coming to the event. She didn't even know why she was coming to the event, but all of a sudden she finds freedom. And that's just one of so many testimonies, and I just can't help but feel the excitement of what's going to happen, because there is so much anticipation and there's so much expectation of what's to happen, and I feel like it's a real faith that's going to cause real miracles in this program. And it's not us. It's not any ministry. It's the sovereign hand of the Lord, and honoring the unity of the church, honoring the hunger in the church, and that's really what we're seeing out there. It's just remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable, and I think that. We're going to see exactly what I'm sharing. It may sound cliche, or it may sound like, well, that's been said over many events, but I really feel like there's something special about this, and you're going to have many ways to engage as well.
Yeah.
That's the big deal. Is all these initiatives I'm talking about would take the city. I think that there's many different aspects of Take the City. There's going to be a racial reconciliation that's going to happen in the program at Revival on the River, which, if you know about this area, if you know about where we're at in our nation, you understand how significant that is, and that's going to be a piece of the program.
So what you're saying is this is a much bigger picture than what we're looking at in one event. And just really quick before we go, I want to encourage you out there, if you have any questions about this, to please call Jonathan's office and talk to them about it, and they'd be happy to talk to you about it. One thing that you talked about was the trafficking and about some of the ministries that you have there. If you're in a position where you feel like you need help and you don't know what to do, then you can call them, and they can send you to the right people.
That's right.
And they can lead you to the Lord, and you can come to that conclusion on your own. But again, I want to thank CTV Beam for allowing us to talk about this spectacular event, and I don't want you to miss it. So please put April 5th on your calendar at the Phoenix City Amphitheater. Be there. And Jonathan, thank you so much for what you do in the community and what your organization is doing in the community. It's important. So we want to thank you. So now I thank you for being my guest today on Faces and Places, where you never know whose face you'll see or which place will be. And we hope to see you at the Phoenix City Amphitheater on April 5th.